it's certainly obvious that we're reaching closer and closer to the end game of Shingeki no Bahamut Virgin Soul, but I just need to ask a quick question. Everything we learned in this episode about what the king was doing, Chris, it was obvious. We all expected that. But here's the thing. Why did he not ask for help? The only thing that has come to mind after just processing it in my mind for the past couple hours now is that the only reason why he did not say anything and why he did not ask for help or tell anyone is because if the angels would have found out, they might have stopped Chris from weakening the seal and allowing Bahamut to run free. That's the only thing I could assume, because knowing how the angels are, or the demons are, most likely they would allow the seal to just weaken over many years, and then they'll deal with it then. They'll push it off for later instead of handling the problem now. That's the only thing I could assume, why he wouldn't say anything to them. But it still doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't he say nothing to Nina? Why would he not say anything to other people of our main cast? And it was obvious that's what he was doing. He was doing something with Bahamut. He was trying to do something good, to be a good dude and all that, to save the world with just his own hands. But the point stands is, it's like, really? It doesn't make up for the fact of what type of person he is. Even though this episode tried to force it and push it really hard that the king, or Chris, is someone that is misunderstood. He is someone that is, trying to do good things. It doesn't make up for all the heinous things he has done in the previous episodes of the series. Let's just look at the little details. This man is responsible for major losses of life throughout the demon world, to the, where the angels are, to, even humans as well. I mean, not just our main characters that were affected, but just people out in the world were all affected by Chris's actions and what he has done. He has taken many lives, and nothing justifies that whatsoever. Regardless of what his intentions were, nothing justifies it. And it's not even that either. I mean, he wanted to take out Muguro, and even though he wasn't the one that initiated it, Alessandro, whatever, he didn't actually do it thanks to the king's orders, he still tried to take Muguru's life many times throughout the course of the series. And he also put so many in just despair. And we saw what he did to the demons and how he treated them. So what he has done things that could never be taken back. And like I said, even though he's trying to be a good guy here, I don't think the ends justify the means of how he achieved what he's doing right now. I personally don't. Now, we also got to look at the situation with Nina. I'm really disappointed in Nina's character. I really am disappointed overall. I'm extremely disappointed. It's probably one of the first or few times I've been really disappointed in Shingeki no Bahamut because of the way Nina's character was handled. Nina was going through some development. She was, obviously she fell in love with the king. It was her first love. She managed to overcome her issue of not being able to transform and all that, and she was able to learn how to control it, and she also fell in love with the king, and she started to love him. And eventually, because of this, she realized he was really bad, but, she couldn't let go of these feelings. And eventually, he went so far as to actually put her on, like, a kill list and try to take her down. And she was really hurt, and, it looked like he wouldn't change at all, and so she was determined to put this man down and stop him for good, or at the very least, save him from himself. Cut off his, ban and all that for he can be safe, and he wouldn't have to do this role anymore. And so that was where Nina's character was developing into, where she was going to save his life, regardless of the consequences of what's going to happen to the entire world. And it was cool just to see how Nina's character was, building up to that. This episode, we get to see Nina finally confront the king once again, and she has the chance of, saving him, cutting off the chunk of his arm to actually get the band off where he cannot, do what he's doing, sacrifice his life. But she doesn't do it. She backs out, which I find very poor. I feel like that's really bad in terms of writing. I felt like that was just, I don't know. I don't like that with Nina's character. I don't like how she was so wishy-washy with her motivation to save the king and then back out and all that or get vengeance. I don't like the way that was done. I personally don't. Now, besides that, if there is one good scene of this episode when it comes to writing, I do like how Jeanne d'Arc does not back down, thanks to finding out the truth of what happened to Muguro. Now, this is something that I've been kind of fearful for, actually. Especially after seeing that scene with Nina, I was fearful that, Jeanne d'Arc, she would back off. But it is revealed that basically she, even regardless if Muguro wasn't actually technically killed by the king or he didn't initiate it or, order it, the fact stands is he's done so many things, not just to, the people, but also to her throughout many years, that it's just enough is enough. She's done with it. And even though she knows the truth and what Kaiser is saying is the truth, she's like, enough is enough. He needs to be stopped. And that's what she's doing. So I like how Jeanne d'Arc doesn't want to just back off. She's like, I'm done with it. I'm done with sitting back, being a bystander. She's going in and she's handling the problem. That was one scene I truly did appreciate from this episode. Now anyways, with that all being said, let's talk about Bahamut's resurrection. So it was obvious that Bahamut would probably come back in some way, because the series is called Shingeki no Bahamut. It's in the title, okay? It's in the title. You cannot have Bahamut in the title if he's not going to pop up in Season 2. So, the question I was having, like, how would Bahamut pop up? Many were speculating that Nina could be, like, some form of incarnation of Bahamut, and she was going to be Bahamut at the end of the series. That does not necessarily seem to be the case. Actually, in fact, the king freed and weakened the seal, Bahamut's breaking out, and now he's trying to aggro Bahamut over to the main capital city where all the fighting is going down. So it's going to be a massive, like, fight towards the end of the series. Like, the final episodes is going to be, like, a big all-out brawl with Bahamut. And I feel like, in a way, even though the king did not want to make the gods very angry or the demons very angry and initiate something right now of all times, it might work out for him in the end. Because for all of the armies to mobilize right now, they could probably do something against Bahamut while, they're actually distracted. They could probably seal him once again or finally finish him off. Now, as we know, one of the objectives of the army that's going to try to take down Chris and end his reign, they're trying to, get rid of that weapon, that super weapon that he has. And I could see this leading into some form of conflict in the upcoming episodes. If they manage to bring down that, like, the big hand weapon, that will stop it to where Bahamut can't be brought down at all. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that's handled and seeing if they're going to destroy it and if they're going to have to find another option to get rid of it. I'm curious. I also wonder if Best Girl from Season 1 will pop up again, since Bahamut and her are technically the same person in a way when you think about the ending of Season 1. So it makes me really wonder if she will pop up again and Favreau will have some form of peace in mind and be able to, finally live with himself or whatever, not regret things. I wonder if that's going to happen, since we've been getting a lot of flashbacks to Season 1 throughout these recent episodes. Now, another thing I need to address is the pacing issues of this episode. Now, I don't know how many are really going to notice it, because obviously, if you're not really paying attention, you don't really care, you're not really going to notice it. I'm just going to be honest. But when I was watching this episode, I was just sitting back, relaxing like I normally do when I'm watching an episode and trying to analyze it, look at what's going on. The first half of the episode, leading up to the point to where Nina was fighting the Onyx Knights, it felt very weird. Like, the pacing of it, I don't know, it did not feel right at all. I don't know exactly what it was, but the way the scene was handled, or that entire first half of the episode, just something about it did not feel right. The pacing of it, to the sound effects, especially Nina fighting the Onyx Knights and all that, the sound effects when she was knocking them out with the whips and all that, I don't know, just something about it felt very off. It did not feel like the traditional episodes of Shingeki no Bahamut, so I just wonder what was going on there. I really don't know. I hope this episode was like not one of those episodes that were like unfinished, and then they're going to fix it up when the BD releases. I have no idea, but it felt like something about this episode was just not right when it came to production-wise. So anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day. And once again, thank you all for, watching this video, leaving a like, and supporting me on Patreon. It allows me, as I've said many times, to continue to focus on YouTube, continuing to do what I love, and it's thanks to all of you why I can do this. So thank you so much. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.